basis for Democratic campaigns has become, we're the smart people. That we know from the get-go. No need to look into that. We know that a priori, which is a Latin phrase the red hat people wouldn't have a clue about. Democrats have been having a lot of donor retreats lately where liberal strategists hold ideathons, where they try to figure out why they keep losing elections. You know, apart from using words like ideathon.
Maher just did what nobody inside the Democratic Party has the courage to do anymore, and nobody expected him to go this far. He didn't hold back for a second, and this time, CNN, Gallup, and the Wall Street Journal all backed him up with receipts. But before we move further, if you enjoy short commentary videos with full breakdowns, take just 2 seconds to subscribe to the channel. Alright? Now let's get back to our video.
And finally, new rule Democrats who 1 year from now will be licking their wounds and asking themselves how they could have lost the midterms so badly must instead ask themselves that question now. Now. You know, now. Like, while there's still time to do something about it. A couple of weeks ago, Amy Klobuchar was here, and when I suggested the Democrats need a messaging czar, she offered me the job. Well, you need a messaging czar in your party.
Do you think it should be you?
Amy, I'm flattered. But after careful consideration, I must decline. The hours it would take me away from home would make it very difficult on my family. But I will tonight, once again, break out my coach hat and try to point the Democrats in the right direction. That's all I can do. Point you in the right direction. I'm like Deep Throat. Because the way this party is running for office is making me Now, I know liberals think this country is full of dumb white people, but in our democracy, dumb white people make up a substantial portion of the vote.
The whole monologue in one line. Democrats need a messaging czar because they have no message left to sell, and the recent numbers back Maher up in brutal detail. According to a CNN poll released in April 2026, only 28% of Americans now view the Democratic Party favorably, while 56% view them unfavorably. The Wall Street Journal called it the worst party rating in more than 30 years. Gallup confirmed the collapse. Just 25% of voters have confidence in Democratic congressional leadership, the lowest number since Gallup started tracking it back in 2001. To Maher, the Democrats don't have an opposition problem, they have a Democrat problem.
For Democratic campaigns has become, we're the smart people. That we know from the get-go. No need to look into that. We know that a priori, which is a Latin phrase the red hat people wouldn't have a clue about. But they don't need to. Have you seen my "In This House We Believe" lawn sign? See, it says right on it, we believe in science. Right, which is why you demanded no one even debate whether COVID could have escaped from the one lab in the one city where they were studying it. How far-fetched.
That lost 2024 in one sentence. We're the smart people. That's the whole pitch. That's the whole strategy. That's why they lost. Because when you spend a decade lecturing your neighbors instead of listening to them, they eventually stop showing up. Critics say this is exactly why working-class voters have been walking away for years. The loud liberal who has all the answers and none of the humility has become the face of the party. And when your entire campaign is built on, "We're smarter than you and we know what's good for you," you've already lost the room before the speech even starts.
Run for office as if the voters don't live here. As if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office. But they do. They live here. And they actually see women and people of color. And it doesn't look like some patriarchal racist nightmare. Do problems remain pertaining to racism and Of course. But a poll last year asked if America is the greatest country in the world. More Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey. The votes are in. They don't want your pity. people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. People, they're just like us. Kamala spent 100 days telling voters, I know it feels like crime and illegal immigration are bad, but your feelings, look at this chart. Yes, there's a lot to not like already about the new regime, but maybe take 1 week to ask what you did wrong.
Mirror the party refuses to look into. Voters live here. They shop, they work, they talk to their neighbors. And they can see with their own eyes that the country isn't the nightmare the modern left keeps describing. According to the Financial Times, Democrats are now losing minority voters faster than any other demographic in America. Republicans doubled their support among minority communities in 2024 compared to just 4 years earlier. They battled to near parity with Hispanic voters, gaining 12 points from the previous cycle. That's the biggest realignment in a generation. In Maher's view, the very people the party pretends to speak for are the ones walking out the door. The message they're sending back is the same. Stop lecturing us. Fix the
racial pandering is one reason Democrats lose elections. When Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi put on kente cloth, I don't think it earned them 1 vote for their powerful emotional ties to Ghana. Here in California, we're now segregating kidnapping. Really, California doesn't just have Amber Alerts for missing children. We have Ebony Alerts for children and Feather Alerts for Native American kids. What is that? We look for them by listening on the ground?
Happens when out-of-touch politicians confuse costume with connection. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi kneeling in kente cloth wasn't outreach. That was theater, and everyone watching saw it for exactly what it was. Critics say this is the entire modern Democratic identity trap in one moment. Separate everyone into a category. Assign them a color-coded alert. Assume they'll vote based on their background and be grateful for the attention. Maher makes the point, every honest voter has been waiting for someone to say, this isn't respect. This is condescension with a marketing budget. And then Maher pulls out the hard data that proves how disastrous this whole strategy has become.
Are hemorrhaging the very voters they think they're pandering to. The Financial Times writes, Democrats are going backwards faster with voters of color than any other demographic, and suggests the reason is that a less racially divided America is an America where people vote more based on their beliefs than their identity. Exactly. Far-left liberals are living in an old paradigm. Americans don't fit into neat little boxes anymore. Who has the #1 country song right now? Beyonce. Lil Nas X won a country music award, and he's and a brand ambassador for the waspiest purse in America, Coach. The biggest new star in country is Jelly Roll, who was a drug dealer, then a prisoner, then a rapper, and then a face-tatted country music star. Not to mention a giant middle finger to the idea of staying in your own lane. No. In America now, you're allowed to be many things all the
Times confirmed that Democrats are losing minority voters faster than any other group in the country. And to Maher, the reason is exactly what he keeps saying. When the country stops caring about identity as much as the political class does, the identity-based strategy stops working. Beyonce has the #1 country song. Country music now has more diversity on its charts than ever before in history. Jelly Roll, a rock rapper, is becoming the biggest new country star in America. That's the real country, messy, mixed, refusing to stay in the boxes the modern left keeps building for it. The old paradigm is dead. And then Maher names the biggest voter, the Democrats, lost a name that should have set off every alarm bell in the party.
Been having a lot of donor retreats lately where liberal strategists hold ideathons, where they try to figure out why they keep losing elections. You know, apart from using words like ideathon. And now one idea that's getting a lot of attention is the Dems need to find their Joe Rogan, a liberal Joe Rogan, because that's why Kamala lost. Republicans have a podcast. Okay, maybe. Or you could consider this. Instead of conjuring up a new Joe Rogan, ask yourself why you lost the old one. Because he used to be on your side. He smokes pot on the air. I don't think he's that much of a far-right ideologue. I don't think his mind is completely inflexible. His neck, yes. But not his mind. And he's expressed unease with some things Trump is doing, as has a certain disgruntled former employee named Elon Musk, who, like Joe, is another guy who 5 years ago was thought of as a liberal, but got driven into the other camp by bad attitudes and bad ideas.
Joe Rogan, the biggest podcast host in America, once a Bernie voter, once part of the liberal coalition, gone. And here's the part that hurts most: the party didn't lose Rogan because the other side made a smarter argument. They lost him because they told him, and millions of men just like him, that his interests, his humor, his lifestyle, and his questions made him the enemy. Critics say the party's answer to this disaster was to hold donor retreats and stage idea-a-thons, trying to build a fake liberal Rogan from scratch. And that right there is the whole problem. You can't build the next Rogan. You had him. You drove him out.
Well, I completely understand, although I would never emulate. I also see the woke mind virus. I just don't jump from frying pans into fires. But I watched the evolution of both these guys. This didn't happen overnight. In 2022, before he owned Twitter, Elon tweeted this chart depicting how he felt about the liberal side having shifted so much that it left a basically liberal centrist like him now labeled a conservative. I related to the kind of mean girl shit you get from the cool kids in Wokeville when you're perceived that way. They tried real hard to cancel Rogan a few years ago, and when Elon hosted Saturday Night Live in 2021, well before he was a Trumper, some of the cast members gave him the cold shoulder for the sin of being rich. You think people don't remember when you do this shit to them? That it's not going to have blowback? Now me, again, you don't have to win me back because I never left. But all the guys in America like Joe and Elon, yeah, you do have to win them back. The good news is you can.
The most important part of the entire monologue: Rogan wasn't chased away by conservatives. He was chased away by the mean girl culture of the woke, left the constant policing, the constant piling on, the constant demand that everyone repeat the same slogans word for word. Elon Musk got the exact same treatment, and in Maher's view, the party is still doing it, right now, to the next Rogan and the next Musk, who could have stayed liberal if the party had just left them alone. That's how he sees the modern left, a bouncer at the door of its own political tent, blocking the very people it needs to win.
Democrats must stand up to Twitter. Catering to one contrived outrage after another makes us look weak. Just because woke babe 99 gets mad at you doesn't mean the rest of America gives a crap. It's great you're gender fluid, but most of America thinks gender fluid is what comes out during a wet dream. And for God's sake, stop apologizing for everything. I know more about what Democratic candidates have apologized for than I know their stance on the issues. 4, I want all Democrats to memorize these 2 words: message discipline. Republicans win for 2 reasons: teamwork and cheating. And they are really good at both. Democrats snipe and bitch at each other. They're like that couple that's divorcing, but they came to the dinner party anyway. Not Republicans. And that is something else I have tried to impress upon the candidates.
Tamar. Those are the 2 words the Democratic Party has to memorize before the next election even happens. And here's the reason Republicans win: because they stick together no matter what. Democrats snipe at each other in public and apologize to their own base every time an anonymous account gets angry online. Maher calls it out for exactly what it is: intellectual cowardice. Every time a Democrat has a common sense moment, someone online melts down and the whole party runs for the exit.
Become like a royal family that, because of so much incest, has unfortunately had children who are retarded. And the same thing can happen to ideas if they are also conceived in an atmosphere of intellectual incest. Maybe take the clothespins off your noses and actually converse with the other half of the country. Stop screaming at people to get with the program and instead make a program worth getting with. What good is liberalism if you don't win elections? Last week, Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton said, "I have 2 little girls. I don't want them getting run over on a playing field by a formerly male athlete. But as a Democrat, I'm supposed to be afraid to say that." Yes, there's the problem in a nutshell. Because Congressman Moulton sounds reasonable to me, but his campaign manager immediately resigned in protest. Let me make this as plain as I can to the smart people. The campaign manager who resigned, yeah, let that person go. Marginalize that guy. Try making too woke be a cancelable offense. It's important for America to have a center-left party, and for that party to be competitive. And a good first step toward that goal would be to make the voters not want to punch you in the face.
That broke the internet. Maher literally compared the modern Democratic Party to a royal family, so inbred that its own children have started to lose the ability to think. Critics say the punchline lands because it's true. When you never talk to anyone outside your own bubble, your ideas get weaker, dumber, and more insulting with every passing generation. That's the whole Maher diagnosis right there. Every year the tent gets smaller. Every year the ideas get worse. Every year the voters walk out. And then Maher drops the sentence that puts every single Democratic failure on trial in one paragraph.
Conclude by saying the reason I'm so mad at the Democrats is because as a voter, the issues that were important to me were democracy and the environment. And now, there's no one to champion or defend either of them because you, with your aggressively anti-common sense agenda and shitty exclusionary attitude, blew it. You lost every...
That's the sentence the Democratic Party needs to hang in every conference room in America. To Maher, this isn't a comedy bit anymore. This is a notice delivered by one of the last real liberals still willing to say it out loud, and the numbers have never looked worse. The Wall Street Journal has Democrats at a net negative 3-0 favorability, the lowest in the newspaper's polling history. CNN has them at 28% approval. Gallup has confidence in Democratic congressional leadership at the lowest point ever recorded since 2001. This isn't a slump, this is a collapse. And unless the party finally does what Maher has been telling them for years, drop the arrogance, stop the pandering, kick out the cancel crowd, and win back the working class, they will keep losing everything, because right now, they already have. Now I want to hear from you. So tell me, is the modern Democratic Party even capable of course correcting anymore? And will 2026 be the year the whole thing finally breaks apart? Drop your answer in the comments. Also, if you agree Maher said what needed to be said, hit that like button and subscribe because what's coming